back to Olfactofiles. I'm Tara, and today I'm going to rank all of my citrus fragrances. Before we get started, if this video doesn't look freaking amazing, I'm gonna throw this table because I just spent like an hour. No, it was more than an hour. I spent a real long time trying to fix the color because you all know I've been having issues with that. Does it look good? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. All right, so like I said, today I'm going to be ranking all of my citrus dominant fragrances from my least favorite all the way to my most favorite. And I think I have about 12 here for you. So if you want to see it as a top 10 plus 2 honorable mentions, you can look at it that way. But basically I'm just going to go from number 12 all the way to number 1. So in the number 12 position is one of the most beautiful bottles that I'm going to show you today. It is from Aerin, and this is called Limon de Sicilia. Yeah. And I don't know if this is limited edition or not. I don't think so, but I don't know. It might be. Anyway, so this one is a lemon forward sort of fragrance in the opening, but after that initial blast of the lemon, a little bit of bergamot, maybe some other citruses as well, then what you see happen is the florals really take over. They're there in the opening. Like in the opening, you get some lily, jasmine right away. I think there's a bit of rose and pink pepper in here too, but that comes out a little bit later. That lily and jasmine are there right away. And the reason why this is at number 12 is because as it dries down, it goes more and more towards a white floral fragrance, even though, like I said, I do pick up rose and pink pepper as well. It's just a little bit too white floral for me. I do think that I pick up ambroxan in this as well. I don't have a problem with that, but I know some people don't like it. So just so you're aware, I do think it's in here. But the other reason that I have this in the number 12 spot, besides the fact that it goes really white floral, and if you know about me, you know that white florals tend to give me headaches, and this one can give me a headache, but it's $335. Now, I did not pay that. I paid less than half of that because I found this at the cosmetics company store, and you know, they always just have excellent deals on anything that you can find there. But still, even at the half off or less than half off price, I don't know. I would not recommend it. I like the way it smells, especially in the opening. That's why I bought it. The opening got me. They're tricky, you know, but the dry down is just not for me. So that one is Aerin's Limon de Sicilia. I think some people will really like it if you're into white florals. I think it's a nice citrus fragrance for a white floral lover, but if you're like me and you're like iffy or you just don't like white florals at all, avoid this at all costs. In the number 11 spot is a fragrance that I think a lot of people love and would put higher on the list, and I really enjoy it, but I have it low because it's a quite simple fragrance. So this comes from Commodity, and it is called Bergamot, and this was created by Steven Nielsen. By the way, I do not know who created the last fragrance. I couldn't find it anywhere, but this is a really nice bergamot fragrance. I do think that there are other citruses in there. I also get something a little bit like a green herbal kind of thing going on, and maybe a little bit of musk and vetiver, a light bit of clean musk and vetiver, I think. I don't really know that there are any florals in here. There could be, but it doesn't smell like it to me. It mostly smells, like I said, like the bergamot, of course, which I will say does stick around a long time. I do appreciate that about this fragrance. I get that slightly green herbal thing with musk and vetiver. So this one I would say is very, very unisex. And in fact, I think pretty much from this point forward, everything I'll talk about, I feel like is very much unisex. This first one, the Aerin, because it is quite floral, I think this one leans a little bit more feminine. Of course, if a man likes this, go for it, wear it. But I think traditionally that might be seen as a little bit more feminine, whereas from this point forward, everything is unisex. So anyway, Bergamot, I found this at TJ Maxx for like $30, so I'm not disappointed at all with this, but it's just a really simple fragrance that I don't tend to reach for a lot because I do have others that I prefer. Still a good one though, if you do see it, you know, at a discount or somewhere, or if you see it at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. I think that this is a nice one to have to just spray on liberally during the summer at the $30 price point. All right, now we're in the top 10, and this next fragrance I've noticed is getting a lot of hate, and I think it's because it's not what people expected. And I will agree, like when I saw the name and kind of what the main notes were, it doesn't smell like that, but I still really like the way it smells. This one is from Jo Malone, and it is called Orange Peel. And this is, I would say, the first one on this list that I really, really like a lot. So my top 10, all of them I really enjoy. This one was created by Marie Salamagne, and I think that the reason why people don't like this, or at least are put off by it, is because it's fairly masculine leaning. And although it definitely has orange in there, orange zest, whatever, and I think there's supposed to be rhubarb and cashmere wood, I get all that, but to me, there's definitely lavender in here, and I think there's maybe a little bit of, I don't know if it's sage. I'm not gonna say it for sure. Something herbal. There's something herbal in here that adds with that lavender sort of note that I'm detecting to make it seem a little bit more like a masculine fragrance than a straight unisex fragrance. And I think that's gonna throw people off, because when you see like orange peel, you think like just like juicy, like orange zest kind of thing, right? But that's not all that's in here. There's a lot of other stuff added to that that really alter sort of what it ends up being. So I really like it, but I understand why people are disappointed if they're going into it thinking it's going to smell like orange zest, for example. So anyway, that's from Jo Malone. It's one of the new releases, and I'll link my video I did on this whole line somewhere. Next, we have the first of my Acqua Allegorias from Guerlain. This one is called Limon Verde. And I talked about this one not that long ago in my Guerlain video, which I can also link for you all. But this one was created by Thierry Vasser, and it has this accord in there that's supposed to mimic the cocktail called a Caipirinha. I think it does that really, really well. You get the lime, you get sort of like that, it's not rum, it's called cachaça, but that sort of, I don't know, sugarcane alcohol sort of smell to it. And then I think there's a bit of like a green fig note in here as well. There's definitely some greenness to it. It's not just like lime, it's also like other types of green notes in there. And if I remember correctly, there's supposed to be tonka in here. I don't pick it up. But I still really, really like this. This is a nice, light, refreshing fragrance. Is it one that I reach for tons? No, but it is unique, and I still do really enjoy it. And of course, I want to smell like a Caipirinha. Like, who doesn't want to smell like that? So that's a good one, but not my favorite. I'll get to another one from this collection that is my favorite thus far of those I've tried. Next up is one from Atelier Cologne, and it is called Love Osmanthus. This is another one that I don't think smells like you would expect, because it smells like light blue, to be quite frank. So if you've ever smelled Dolce & Gabbana light blue, this smells very, very similar. Now it does have the tiniest bit of that like apricot-y leather feel from the Osmanthus, but Osmanthus is not the star here. Even though it's called Love Osmanthus, I get a lot more of the lemon that's in here. And honestly, it smells a whole lot like light blue. Not identical, but a whole lot like it. And that's why it's in this position here at number, what is this, 8, I think? Because it's more expensive than light blue, but pretty much serves about the same function. Does it smell maybe a little bit less synthetic? Yes, but not much. So I still really, really like it because I love light blue, but I don't think it's worth the price. Now, if you were to buy it, it would not come in this bottle. This was limited edition. It's pretty obvious why I bought this bottle, because look at it, come on. But yeah, I mean, this is a nice citrus woody fragrance with a touch of osmanthus in there, but that's, like I said, it's just a touch, it's not the star. So don't go thinking that this is going to be like a really strong osmanthus note in here, because it's not. It's definitely just more expensive light blue. So honestly, unless you're wanting like the fancy bottle like I have, I would say just buy light blue. Speaking of light blue, I have in the next spot, Light Blue Intense. So I do not currently own the original Light Blue. I also no longer own any of the flankers except for Light Blue Intense. This is all I'll ever need. This is actually just a really small 25 ml bottle, but I don't reach for light blue a lot. I just like the way it smells. And the intense version is simply just a longer lasting, maybe slightly more projecting version of it. So it's pretty much the same. This was created by Olivier Cresp. And as I'm sure many of you know, this has lemon, apple, I think there's like musk. What is there? Supposed to be like marigold in here. I don't get that. But I think there's like a little bit of a floral in here as well, if I remember correctly, besides the marigold. Anyway, so this mostly it's just all about that lemon, like the green apple and the musk, right? It's really clean. Like it's a classic fragrance at this point, right? It's been around so long. The reason why I don't reach for it a lot is because one, like I've worn it for what, decades now? Like a really long time. So, you know, you just kind of get over things and you wear other stuff. So partially it's just mostly nostalgic now, but also like it's so common. If you go out in the summertime, you will smell multiple people who smell like light blue. In fact, I have many students who wear light blue and they smell great, but that's why I just don't reach for it as much anymore. So I do recommend the intense version. I do think it lasts longer than the original, but I think any of them, well, there's a few flankers I've tried that I didn't like, but most of the flankers I think are pretty solid too. So that one again is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Intense. Next up is one from a niche brand called Kierin NYC. And this particular fragrance is called Sunday Brunch, which you'll see right here. And then of course the name of the company here. So these are actually pretty affordable. This 50 ml bottle, I believe, sells for $84, $85, something like that on their website. And occasionally they do run sales, which I really appreciate. They have, I think, 4 other fragrances so far. And the only one I didn't really like is their sandalwood one, unfortunately. But in general, I think this is a house worth checking out if you're looking for some affordable fragrances. Well, relatively affordable compared to other niche houses anyway, right? So this one was created by Matthew Nardin, or Nardine, I don't know how you say his last name, but it is a tea citrus fragrance. And to me, it smells like a black tea because it's almost like there's something a little bit spicy in there, just a tiny bit. So I would say it's probably a black tea versus like a green tea sort of accord. And in addition to the lemon, I think there's also bergamot and a tiny bit of maybe jasmine in here, but don't, like, if you're worried about florals, don't let that bother you because it is mostly about the lemon and the tea and, you know, maybe the bergamot in there too, but mostly it smells like lemon and black tea. So if you put lemon in your black tea, you might have a good idea. But it actually, to me, instead of the tea itself, like the drink, it kind of smells like the tea leaves, maybe just after they've been steeped, for example, something like that. So it's like I said, a little more pungent, a little more spicy than maybe the actual tea itself would be. So anyway, that one is a nice one from Kierin NYC. And in general, like I said, it's a company I really like. In the number 5 spot is another citrus tea fragrance. If you've watched me for a while, you know that tea fragrances aren't my favorite, but there are some that I do enjoy, including both of these. Also, I do like Oolong Cha from Nishane. That one is really nice, but I don't have a full bottle of it right now. Anyway, let's get back to the citrus. So this one here is from Lancome's Maison Lancome line, and it's called Oranges Bigarades, I think is maybe how you say it. The bottles are stunning. I hate that they changed the bottle to just have the one plate with like all the information on it. I really like how this has, you know, the 2 on there. So anyway, the difference between this and the last one, there's a couple differences. So first of all, the main player here is orange, or I think it's bitter orange that's in here. So there's orange, tea, and pepper in this one. But to me, this smells more like the actual like tea, like you're drinking, like a black tea, you know, just kind of like an iced tea that you're having in the summertime with that orange. So the orange versus the lemon. So it's a little bit smoother to me. And then even though there's pepper in here, this seems a little less spicy than the last one. I can pick up the pepper, like a black pepper sort of vibe. but it's less spicy. It's just like kind of really nicely blended. And this is actually, of the tea fragrances that I own, which are, you know, very few in number, this is my favorite. So again, that's called Oranges Bigarades. And the perfumer for this one was Christophe Renaud. That's who, yeah. So definitely a good one. Check it out if you haven't already. Never pay full price for these. They always go on sale and often show up on discounters as well. And the number 4 spot is just an amazing fragrance. I picked this up not too long ago, maybe a month or 2 months ago, and I absolutely love it. It's from the Armani Privé line, and it's called Vetiver d'Hiver, I think is how you pronounce it now. And there's 2 things really funny about this name. So first of all, the vetiver is not the strongest note in this, especially not in the opening. And the second thing is that somebody, when I talked about this last time, told me that this means winter in French. And so it'd be like winter vetiver. And this is like the most summery kinds of fragrance you could ever get. So, I mean, if you wanted to wear it in the winter, you could, but it's very light and citrusy and refreshing. So Alberto Marias created this one. And besides the vetiver, like I said, there's a lot of citrus, which is why it's on this list. I think it's bergamot and mandarin that's supposed to be in this. And I can definitely see both of those being here. And I would say that there could be other citruses as well. Honestly, like I do think I could pick up bergamot, but then it's like, maybe it's mandarin, maybe it's lemon, maybe it's, I don't know what. But there's definitely more than one type of citrus in here. I think there's also a little bit of like some sort of like a spice. I don't know. It could be cardamom, which I really love in general. Like I love it in food and in fragrances, but a little bit of that. And then of course, like I said, the vetiver is there. The vetiver comes out a little bit more in the dry down for me, but I will tell you the citrus stays pretty much the whole time. However, when I say pretty much the whole time, this is a short-lived fragrance. As I'm sure you're aware, most of these are not gonna, with the exception of a few, most of these are not gonna last like a crazy long time because they're citrus fragrances, right? But this one is a pretty short-lived fragrance. I might get like 2-3 hours out of it, but I love it nonetheless. And that's why it's here. And it is just so light, beautiful, refreshing. And of course, like I said, all of these, I think, with the exception of the first one I talked about, are very much unisex. And this one, of course, is often sold probably more frequently to men than it is to women, but I think it's great for anyone. All right, in the number 3 spot, you had to know this one was going to be on the list. We have a Tom Ford, and it is Mandarino di Amalfi Acqua. So this is the Eau de Toilette version. Now, Khalees Becker did the original Mandarino di Amalfi. However, I'm not positive that she did this one. I don't know for sure who did this one, but I'm going to just kind of assume it was her since she did the original. This is just fantastic. Another fairly short-lived one, but this one does project a bit more. It is a little stronger than the last one. So this is this beautiful sort of citrus combination. Obviously there's mandarin in there, probably other citruses, and then I get like basil, mint. Oh, it's so nice. And definitely some musks. I think maybe there's supposed to be vetiver in this as well. Honestly, the citruses of this one are really the stars of the show, and that's the most dominant sort of characteristic I get from this in combination with mint and basil. So the other things like the musk, vetiver, whatever else is in here, those are pretty low key in this fragrance. So if you are looking for something that is a bit of like a citrus herbal kind of combo that's really bright and just, I don't know, like it's just kind of energizing, then this is the one to go with. Of course, the prices for these are a bit high if they don't perform well, but you know, that's up to you. Maybe you can find a little bit of a discount. I have seen this at the cosmetics company store before, in which case you would get half off or maybe more than half off. It's not always there, but I've seen it there before. So just FYI, I use my Ulta points to get this for free. So that worked out too. But I personally really love it. And you can see that there's a good chunk of that gone because, well, you do have to reapply, but also I just really enjoy this fragrance. All right, so the top 2 are both from a perfumer who I've already spoken about today, and that is Marie Salamagne. So clearly I appreciate the way that she does citrus. And in the number 2 spot is another Guerlain Acqua Allegoria, and this one is Mandarin Basilic. And I've tried many from the Acqua Allegoria collection, not all. I still need to try Pampelune of all things, right? Jeez, it's like one of the originals. But besides the two that I've had here, I've also had, trying to think of the names of all of them. I had the one that was like really minty, whatever that one is. Can't think of it right now. And then there's a pear one I've tried. There's, gosh, I don't know. There's a whole bunch. Anyway, this is my favorite so far because it is just the most delicious, juicy mandarin. And it is mandarin and basil. Like those are the main notes that you get here. I do get like a little bit of a woodiness in the dry down. And I definitely pick up the tea note that's in here. It's like a green tea, I think, that's in here. And I can pick that up too. But that mandarin, oof, it is so good. And it makes like, my mouth is all salivating now from smelling this, because it is just so incredibly juicy. So whereas maybe people really wanted the, you know, the strong orange from the Jo Malone orange peel, you're gonna find it here. So if that's what you want, if you want that delicious, very citrusy, juicy mandarin orange, this is the way to go. And yes, of course, the basil's there. There are other notes going on. I think there could be a little bit of floral in here. But yeah, wow. This is fantastic. So now you might be wondering, what in the world could possibly beat out Mandarin Basilic if Tara loves it that much? Well, that's a great question, and let me tell you, it's another fragrance that features an orange note. Again, like I said, it's also from Marie Salamagne, same perfumer, but this comes from the house of Atelier des Ors, and it is called Cordizage. And let's just look at the bottle for a minute and the packaging. You got the little gold flakies. That's always fun, right? Really beautiful. But my God, this fragrance is fantastic. So this one features blood orange, and you can definitely pick up the difference between the mandarin and the blood orange. That's part of the reason why I really love both of these fragrances too. And I think the Mandarino di Amalfi, you can really tell it's mandarin. I think they all have really like true to life sort of depictions of those particular citruses. So this one, in addition to the blood orange, it has honey in it, so it's a little bit sweet. I think there's also some florals in here, maybe a bit of pear. I think it is pear that's in here. And I can't remember, and I don't really pick up much else right now off the top of my head, but I will describe this as I've described it before, because that's what it is to me. It is a delicious blood orange cocktail that you want to drink all summer long. And it smells so good. I think that the honey kind of sweetens it up and gives it like that orange liqueur sort of vibe going on, which makes me think of a cocktail of some sort. This would be the most delicious, refreshing cocktail that you could possibly have in the summer. And I really want to drink something that tastes like this. Don't drink this. That will kill you. We've been over that before. But I want to drink something that smells like this because, my God, it's amazing. Again, another one that makes me salivate because it smells so good. And it's like you get the juice from the blood orange, but you also have that like nice oil from the zest. Maybe you like rim it around the glass of the cocktail. So you have that really pungent oil coming up and, you know, kind of wafting into your nostrils, your nose holes, if you will. Oh, this is so good. The other reason why this is even higher is because it lasts longer. I would say that when I've worn this in the summer, this is one I can actually get like 6 hours out of, which for a citrus fragrance, when it's 95 freaking degrees outside, like it has been all week, that's amazing. So I'll take it. And obviously I love this one. So this is my #1 pick for my citrus fragrance. It is again from Atelier des Ors, and it's called Cordizage, which means the choir of angels. All right, so those are all my citrus fragrances ranked from my least favorite to my most favorite. Now, of course, this was a mix of many different types of citruses because I don't have, like, comparatively that many citrus fragrances when you look at the other types of fragrances I have in my collection. And that's mostly because I do not live in a tropical climate, although it gets insanely hot here and very humid, very, very disgustingly humid. It doesn't stay like that for a super long time. At most, maybe 3 months, we'll experience some extreme heat off and on. And then it kind of goes back into mild for a week or two and then freezing. So I definitely don't need tons of these, but I really do enjoy this collection of citrus fragrances that I do have, especially my top 10, like I said. The other two, if they left my collection, I don't think I would be too sad, so maybe you'll see those go in the relatively near future. But what I would like to know is if there are some other citrus fragrances that you really think I should try. Now I will say Xerjoff's Renaissance is one that I would really like to add to my collection at some point because I really enjoyed that. Haven't tried Neo yet, but I'm really curious about that one as well. And I also really want the Pomelo Paradis from Atelier Cologne. That one I have the little travel spray of, and that's fantastic too. But besides those three, what else would you recommend I try that you really enjoy, especially if it is more in that really juicy category, because that seems to be what I like the most. So I would love your recommendations. Please leave them down below. Let me know what your favorites are. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the notification bell, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day. Bye.